play against each other here in the Premier League this afternoon under what are currently cloudy skies. We've had the odd shower of rain during the course of the afternoon, but very mild. And let's run you through the teams as the two captains just complete the formalities in the centre circle. Azpilicueta and De Gea, United with De Gea in goal. A back four of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Big moment for him, almost £50 million worth. Lindelof and Maguire, the central defenders. Maguire, the world's most expensive defender. Luke Shaw, left back. In midfield, McTominay, Pereira and Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard, Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial. And Chelsea with some young faces in there. Kepa in goal, Azpilicueta, Zuma, Christensen and Emerson. Kovacic, Jorginho, Mount, Pedro, Barkley and Abraham. And the game begins. Anthony Taylor is the referee. And a new Premier League season begins here at Old Trafford. The teams that last season finished in 3rd and 6th place in the Premier League. And Manchester United, red shirts, white shorts, black socks. And Chelsea in the blue shirts, blue shorts with the white trim and the white socks. And immediately looking, Andy Townsend, to see how it is that Chelsea have started to line up here.
It looks like, John, as you actually correctly identified, it looks like Ross Barkley's going to play slightly off of Chelsea's left-hand side, and you've got Kovacic and Jorginho as a holding two, and Mason Mount having that freedom in a number 10 position. So that'd be interesting to see how it works. Certainly they have a bit more insurance. I've always felt watching Jorginho very capable in possession, but when the ball is turned over, he's a little bit too easily bypassed. Now he's got Kovacic in there as well, gives him a little bit more insurance and a bit more substance for Chelsea in those areas.
Here's Emerson for Chelsea down the left-hand side, driving on towards the Stretford end. Still going, Wan-Bissaka, this is the first test for him, and he puts in the challenge on Emerson. Gets a huge cheer because he's emerged with the ball, and then very coolly as Emerson recovers, waits for him, and then just scoops it past the Chelsea left-back to Jesse Lingard. So that was a promising start for Aaron Wan-Bissaka as Chelsea play the ball over the top, but that's overhit right into the gloves by Kovacic of David De Gea.
Yeah, that's his strength, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. When people are taking him on, his recovery pace and his ability to tackle and get a foot in and make sure that he disrupts that is very, very strong in that respect. Very good, as good as most. He really is. He's an exceptionally quick and ferocious athlete, and so taking him on today, you're going to need to be at your sharpest.
That's Andy Townsend with us, Premier League midfielder, Republic of Ireland World Cup player, with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live for the start of a new season here at Old Trafford on this opening weekend of the new Premier League season. Already Arsenal 1-0 winners at Newcastle in our earlier commentary match, and no goals between Leicester and Wolves. Ball cleared away by Kepa, but Manchester United with Shaw driving forward, but loses possession on the edge of the area after a heavy touch off his chest. Manchester United though win it back on the left-hand side, but there was an infringement there, a foul, I think perhaps by Rashford, and it's a free kick to Chelsea over on the far side.
Yeah, Chelsea there when the ball went back to Kepa, two centre-halves split, Zuma and Christensen width of the 18-yard box, and the two full-backs, Azpilicueta and Emerson, pushed on, and Jorginho came right onto the edge of the box to offer himself for the goalkeeper.
This is nice from Chelsea. Here's Mount on the right-hand side. First serious involvement for him on his debut, his senior competitive debut for Chelsea. Swings over the cross from the right flank, comes off a United head and loops behind, and it is a corner to Chelsea. Harry Maguire's big head it was that it hit. So it is a corner to Chelsea from the right-hand side that Mason Mount will take. Yep, his senior competitive debut for the Chelsea first team. This 20-year-old, born in Portsmouth. Sure, there'll be a few nerves in that young chest. The corner is taken towards the near post, aiming for Abraham. It's headed away for United. Comes back Kovacic trying to turn. Abraham turns, shoots, hits the post, and it bounces out and out of the penalty area altogether. He hit that with some venom, Tammy Abraham. Still Chelsea, and here's Pedro, 25 yards out, takes it on but curls the shot well wide at the top right corner as he looked.
What a strike, Tammy Abraham. He has really launched that one. The ball was just bobbling around a little bit. There was a little bit of confusion amongst the United defenders and midfield players, and the ball just ran through for Tammy Abraham, and he has set fire to that from the edge of the box, and it has blasted against the post. So close to putting Chelsea in front.
That was your old-fashioned pile driver, wasn't it?
Brilliant effort.
Got right behind it, and it smacked the face of the post and came directly out to the edge of the penalty area. So promising start for him as well. Looked sharp. Tammy Abraham, who has been on loan. Bristol City, Swansea, and last season so well with Aston Villa in the promotion season. Here's Barkley on the left-hand side. Barkley taking it on, beginning to cut in from the left flank, but turns back into trouble, back into red shirts in the shape of Pogba and Wan-Bissaka. And Pogba tries one of those turns under pressure from Mount and Barkley, and was in danger of losing the ball in his own defensive third. Wan-Bissaka, fortunately for Pogba, was able to move across, take the ball, and he finds Pereira, and there's space on the left-hand side for Manchester United as they sweep forward. Here's Luke Shaw, little ball towards Rashford. Rashford now being forced wider on the left-hand side. Then back to McTominay, closer towards the halfway line. And then Pereira is caught in possession, and there's a little foul by McTominay on Jorginho, and it's a free kick to Chelsea just inside their own half.
Yep, good play that actually from Jorginho. Intercepted that pass and just broke up any potential United attack. Some nice work, some smart work from Aaron Wan-Bissaka under pressure, just rolling it into McTominay, and they had a chance to get Luke Shaw going down the other side. But yep, good start to the game, good tempo, John, about it.
There is. Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0. BBC Radio 5 Live, and the ball back to Kepa. If you didn't hear, by the way, England 33, Wales 19 was the final score at Twickenham in the first World Cup warm-up match for those two. We'll have more on that a little bit later on, certainly at half-time as well. Guess we'll be hearing from the coaching staff. And we're also keeping across the two games in the Premiership in Scotland as well. I'll give you an update on those scores in a moment. But I'm just being told, Gary, our producer, tells me of all of the Premier League clubs this weekend, Manchester United's starting 11 is the youngest by average age, 24 years and 9 months. We talk about the youth in the Chelsea side. Chelsea coming forward, important header away by Lindelof on the edge of the box after the cross from Azpilicueta from out on the right-hand side. And also we talk about Chelsea's formation as Rashford wins the ball back on the left-hand side. Rashford will take it on. Martial up ahead of him, but Rashford couldn't find the pass to Martial, and Chelsea have got it back in front of their own penalty area. There was quite a debate actually between some of the regular Manchester United watchers. Oh, Zuma's given it away. Martial with the shot. He didn't catch it at all, and Kepa was able to go down quite easily to his left and stop it.
Kurt Zuma's a lucky boy there. Chelsea were trying to play across inside their own 18-yard box, across the width of it. That's not his strength. That is something that he's got to work at, but he shouldn't do it unnecessarily. He shouldn't risk anything in trying to do it. He was a little bit blind when the ball was played to him from Kepa in terms of what was in and around him. He knocked one square across the 18-yard box right to Marcus Rashford, who's gone with a big side foot. Beg your pardon, Anthony Martial, big side foot, and unfortunately just straight out the Chelsea goalkeeper. But a little bit casual there, Chelsea, and they nearly paid the penalty.
What the jury was out, Andy, was who would be through the middle for Manchester United, whether it would be Rashford or Martial. And at the moment it's tending to be Martial with Rashford on the left-hand side.
It looks a little bit. I think there's obviously licence there, John, to interchange positions and make sure that they're not too static and too predictable. But you're right, Anthony Martial is certainly operating a little bit more down the middle, with Jesse Lingard off the right and Rashford off the left.
Pogba goes for one of those driving passes that he just marginally overhit. He was looking for the run of Martial off Zuma, but it ran through to Kepa, the goalkeeper. And that is the thing about Zuma, isn't it? After that mistake that he made there, presenting the ball straight to Martial, excellent out-and-out defender.
Yeah,
it's just that composure, isn't it? That
it is
him on the ball, which
is very much the way that the modern-day centre-half has to be.
You've got to be, haven't you?
You've got to be comfortable. You've got to be able to receive it in those tight areas. But again, if he's not sure, if his instinct is telling him that there's a danger, then he always has the licence to get rid of it, John.
Rangers winning 4-1 against Hibernian. That is the latest score. And St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0 in the day's 2 Premiership matches in Scotland. Almost 9 minutes played. Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0. Also at half-time we will hear from, I guess, Steve Bruce, Unai Emery, Brendan Rodgers, Nuno Espirito Santo. Pick any number from those four, we'll let you know. after their results earlier today. Here's Jorginho, centre circle, Pedro on the edge of the box, glancing header towards the right hand side. Azpilicueta arrives right across the 6-yard box. Abraham couldn't reach it, stretching for it, it was just beyond him. Barkley though keeps it for Chelsea. Now Pedro on the edge of the area. It was a lovely header by him to the right hand side. Ball cross, took a deflection actually from Azpilicueta, and that took it into the gloves of David De Gea.
It's been a really good start actually from the visitors. They've been excellent, just coming up to the 10-minute mark, and some really good football down the right hand side to free up Cesar Azpilicueta. The ball across, that it literally rolls right across the 6-yard box, and Tammy Abraham just can't really get himself in a position to attack it. It would have only needed a toe ender, someone just making contact, and that's in the back of the net. But I think Frank Lampard will be delighted with the way that his team have kept the ball when they've had to, and the way that they've posed a bit of a threat and asked a question or two already.
0-0 Manchester United and Chelsea. Jermaine Defoe and Alfredo Morelos, by the way, were the scorers of Rangers' most recent goals, and they lead by 4-1 against Hibs at Ibrox. But 0-0 here, and it's been a really promising start. Rashford back into his own half, plays it back into central defence to Pogba, who's actually there. Quite a deep lying position. I was wondering today who would play in midfield for United and how they would work it too. So lots and lots of questions.
They've actually got McTominay and Pogba as a 2, sitting a little bit deeper, and Andreas Pereira is the one that's asked to maybe go and link up with the boys up top.
Here at Chelsea with Pedro on the right hand side, just holding off Luke Shaw, and Chelsea go back into their own half and then all the way back to Kepa. Is that the best place for Pogba, or would you rather see him a little bit further forward?
Well, look, I happen to think he's got the ability to be a serious threat if he's playing a little bit further forward. However, if you play him in that advanced position, John, and United can't get enough possession to find him and to release him, then all of a sudden I can perhaps understand today why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer feels that he might just want him there, being in the thick of things a little bit more, being in and around the game. I think he's one of those players, Pogba, he suffers a bit if he's not involved. He can't stay out of the game for long periods. He doesn't really do that.
Pereira loses it. Now here is Mount with a shot from 22, 23 yards. Ball was underneath his feet, but he adjusted so quickly and got the shot in, and it was straight at De Gea, who was able just to pad it down, as well as all of the matches that he played for Derby last season. Mason Mount, he also scored 11 goals across all of the competitions.
Good strike again from Mason Mount. Pedro it was that freed him up in that number 10 position. He was in behind United's midfield, but at a yard or two in front of that back four, just took it out of his feet, hit it from distance, but straight at David De Gea.
And also another very grounded and very impressive young man, Mason Mount. Spoke to him during the course of last season, and actually talking to him about what an important influence Frank Lampard was on his career, and that was when Lampard had him at Derby on loan. And now first Premier League match for Frank Lampard, Mason Mount straight in the starting lineup.
I do think it's great that Frank Lampard and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer are giving opportunities to these younger players. I think for years there's always been a thought that younger players can actually go in if they're given the opportunity. There's so much at stake with Premier League football, and of course the demands on it we all understand. Defeat and regular defeat means you're out of a job very quickly as a manager, but if you can trust these younger players, if you do give them an opportunity and they're talented, then they can repay you. And it's great that certainly the young boys out there today are being given a chance. I really hope they can step up. So far the signs are good.
Frank Lampard has spent most of the opening almost 15 minutes on the edge of the coaching area. Clouds darkening over Old Trafford. Just feel the wind swirling around as well. We might be in for another one of those heavy showers shortly. Here is Christensen out to the right hand side. There's no Rudiger for Chelsea. He's on the injured list, but it's not too serious. There was a chance he might have played today. Kante on the substitutes bench, if you didn't hear that earlier. United with the ball at the back. I think McTominay has just been caught there, and referee Taylor has spotted that and has actually brought the game back. He's okay. I think he's going to be all right, up on his feet. Another important young player for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United, the 22-year-old Scott McTominay. And here he is, straight back up, high forehead, blonde hair, playing the ball over the top down the left-hand side. This is for Martial, Manchester United's new number 9 to chase. Christensen puts in the challenge, and actually he's adjudged to, I'm sure there's a great deal in that, sort of arm on the back of Christensen, who went down and won the free kick for Chelsea.
Yep, decent play that actually from Andreas Christensen. He was under pressure from Martial right in front of the corner flag. Just felt a little nudge from the United striker. Down he goes.
The one thing, of course, that Frank Lampard has that Maurizio Sarri very rarely had, 20 minutes before the teams came out today, almost all of the Chelsea fans here are singing his name.
That's very true.
I mean, they will have patience, and he will have their full support. And if they play like this, that's what they wanted to see. Here's Barkley, who gives it to Abraham. Tall man, must be 6'2", 6'3", Tammy Abraham. As I mentioned, he is a full England international, remember. Here's Pedro on the right-hand side, crossing, took a deflection. Pogba's able just to wait for it to drop and play it to McTominay, who sends a pass to the halfway line. And now Martial is off and running, uses Rashford though. Rashford tried to slip the ball down the line for the run that Martial made. It was blocked. It finds its way back to Martial on the left-hand side. Lingard waiting in the middle. Flick from Rashford after he received it from Martial. It didn't quite work, and it was intercepted and cleared for Chelsea.
Yeah, a little bit too much there. Just one too many. Marcus Rashford, the ball came to him from Martial, and he tried to flick it. A little bit too much, really. Didn't need to do that. Just drop it back to him and get a shot away. I think that's what the United fans are waiting for, that moment where they can really threaten the Chelsea goal. So far, the visitors have been a little bit more comfortable with the ball in their feet, in possession. United have been unable to really make any headway in the game.
Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0. Closest we've come to a goal was the shot from Abraham, stinging shot that hit the post. Tammy Abraham, who is 6'3", with all of that hair, he looks even more United. Pereira taking it on, might have been fouled. Referee plays advantage. Rashford in the penalty area is brought down. It's a penalty. Zuma went in rather clumsily. Down went Rashford, and referee Taylor, straight on the scene, pointed to the spot, and Manchester United have a penalty with 16 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, well played the referee, because he played an advantage there. Could easily have blown the whistle and given United a free kick 30 yards from goal. He kept it going, and it's a clumsy, unnecessary challenge from Kurt Zuma. It is a definite penalty. Of course it will be checked, but that one's going to stay on the spot. Marcus Rashford is going to have the opportunity, I think, here to put United in front. Well,
I was wondering, Andy, who would take the penalty. Remember Paul Pogba's penalties last season?
Yes.
And him missing them as well. Marcus Rashford has only taken one penalty for Manchester United before.
Do you know what, John? When you're the United, he's number 10, but in many respects he's maybe their new number 9. Pick that ball up, put it on the spot and knock it in the back of the net. Get your season up and running with a goal. I like to see strikers taking penalties, taking responsibility. It's moments like this that will do him the world of good. This is what makes a United centre forward. Let's hope that he concentrates here and gives it full focus.
VAR has confirmed it is a penalty, and Marcus Rashford has a chance to put Manchester United 1-0 up from the penalty spot here. Kepa on his line, all in yellow. Rashford sets out to the left, little steps, right-footed, high and into the back of the net. Superb penalty from Marcus Rashford, who runs away towards the Sir Alex Ferguson stand, pursued by men in red who surround him and congratulate him on his first goal of the season. Manchester United's first goal of the season. They're 1-0 up on Frank Lampard's Chelsea.
Against the run of play, it's got to be said, but unnecessary challenge. I'm just looking at Frank Lampard. He's urging his players, come on, pick it up again. Let's just get the ball back and let's get going. But it's a lovely penalty from Marcus Rashford. He just has that little staggered run up, John, as you say. He just has one little check of Kepa before he blasts that right up into the top of the goalkeeper's right-hand side. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer punches the air in delight. United have a lead, but they haven't been on top, but far from it in this game so far.
The buzz of Old Trafford after the first goal of the season has been scored here, and it's been scored by the great local favourite Marcus Rashford in the 18th minute. The only previous penalty that he'd taken for Manchester United was that penalty in Paris, that unforgettable night. That was a pressure penalty. Mind you, they're all pressure penalties, but you wouldn't have known it the way that he dispatched it.
Oh no, he hit it well. Hit it true, and a real positive strike, and it flashed past Kepa, goalkeeper. Didn't even see it. All he could do is turn around and fish it out the corner of the net.
The other penalty I remember him taking, of course, was in the World Cup last 16, the penalty shootout, and he took that one away as well. Rangers now 5-1 up on Hibernian. Morelos has scored again in the 89th minute. Actually, they've scored another one. Ojo in the 92nd, so it's Rangers 6, Hibernian 1. After Celtic scored 7 last weekend, 5 yesterday. Rangers score 6 today. Steven Gerrard in charge there. Frank Lampard in charge here. The times they are a-changing, and they
certainly are. No, look, I actually applaud these clubs for giving these guys a chance. They were great players. They can inspire young players as well onto great things, I hope. I really do.
And the current England manager, Gareth Southgate, one of your old teammates, is sitting just about 15 yards to our left. Steve Holland with him, his assistant, very much a Chelsea man. Free kick to Manchester United on the left. Pereira delivers it. It's bounced a long way. Maguire at the back post. Maguire shoots into the shins of Emerson and advances behind for another corner to Manchester United here.
If he actually just hits that first time there, Harry Maguire, there's 2 United players, I think Martial and Rashford, they've got to tap him. They're on the 6-yard line. Just put it back in there. He takes a touch, and Emerson does well to actually just suffocate the cross, and it goes back out for another corner.
Seeing the England style corner routine from Manchester United here. 4 players in a line, one of them Maguire, and here's the delivery from Pereira to the back post. Maguire's after it. Actually, Pogba got to it first, got in Maguire's way. The ball was glanced out to the far side. Pogba's got it back, tried to sort of drive it in low. Emerson was there, and the ball actually skids away all the way towards the halfway line. I told you it was going to rain. Short, sharp shower. And I think you've still got just a little bit of moisture in the air.
That's actually quite nice for when you're playing, as long as that pitch stays really fast, John.
Here now is Martial. Martial running at the Chelsea penalty area. His attempted cross was blocked, and the player is down, and the referee is bringing play back all the way to the halfway line where Christensen was down, even though Manchester United had the ball on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. I'm not sure whether Anthony Taylor thought it was a head injury.
No, that's very harsh on United there. They've got Chelsea backpedaling into their own 18-yard box. We're just seeing the incident. It is Andreas Christensen gets caught by a flailing arm from Pogba, but that was a strange moment for the referee to actually stop the game and let the Chelsea physios come on and treat their player, because the ball was bobbling around right on the edge of that 18-yard box, and United I think they had more men up there, John, than what Chelsea had back.
Yeah, I think all sorts of things play on the mind of a referee there. The fact that he knew that he'd been struck in the head, that it was an arm, that he was down, that he was one of Chelsea's central defenders, but that he'd let the advantage go.
He actually let Martial have that initial cross. He did check his shoulder, Anthony Taylor there, so he knew that Christensen was down on the halfway line. He allowed United to attack, but I think once it then come out of that phase into another one, he decided to stop the game, as the Chelsea player hadn't got back onto his feet.
Full-time Rangers 6, Hibernian 1. Bringing the full-time score on the St Mirren Aberdeen match presently. Play will restart with a drop ball. Here, incidentally, going back to VAR, there is no big screen, as anyone who's been here will know. So the ball is dropped and roundly booed as Chelsea belt it all the way down the field to De Gea at the other end. So what they're doing here to keep everyone in touch, as you might have heard when the penalty was given, is that anything VAR related is actually going to be announced over the loudspeakers inside the stadium. So that's the way they're going to do it. United playing the ball across their own penalty area. A sure touch from Lindelof, and then Pogba under pressure does well, actually, even though he's on the ground, work the ball forward towards Lingard, who's been quiet in the game so far, but he uses the arriving Wan-Bissaka now. Wan-Bissaka into the penalty area on the right hand side, checks back, then there's a little flick from him, uses his left foot, still going on his right. Emerson with a challenge, gets the cross in, which goes very, very high. Kepa, one-handed punch away. Pereira, that gets under the ball on the left-hand side of the penalty area. His cross is blocked. Pedro is able to get a foot in. Shaw retakes possession for Manchester United and then the ball runs away out of play off the goal scorer Rashford for a throw-in to Chelsea, with Manchester United leading by 1-0.
I think there you see Aaron Wan-Bissaka, persistence and strength, excellent, and made an awkward moment for Kepa. Whereas we see Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's so comfortable at the top end of the field, he's so good with his delivery. It's not natural for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's not blessed with that sort of ability. What he has got is tremendous courage and strength, and he keeps going and going.
Chelsea with the throw, but they've lost possession. Manchester United, Rashford lively on the left. Now Martial, left-footed cross, which has gone a long way, but Wan-Bissaka is there in his pink Manchester United boots. Wan-Bissaka back towards Pogba, 25 yards out, tried to take it on. Barkley got a little touch on it. As a result, Pogba lost possession. Manchester United have got it back though and played all the way back to De Gea. Tammy Abraham bearing down on the Manchester United goalkeeper and captain. And then Maguire is also put under pressure by Abraham, who's fouled by Abraham, and it's a free kick to Manchester United. And it has finished St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0 in the other Premiership match. The early goal by Ilkay Durmus won it for St Mirren. Andy Townsend.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. It's been interesting. Chelsea, bright start, looked very cool and comfortable in possession, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's United take the lead. An unnecessary challenge from Kurt Zouma, I think. Just a little bit rash and just panicked a wee bit when he was backed into the box by Marcus Rashford. Dangled that leg out. Rashford goes down, quite rightly the penalty given. United have the lead, but not a lot in the game, John.
I'm not sure how much of a close call it was. It must have been close-ish, whether Rudiger was fit to play in this game.
Yeah,
it probably would have been Rudiger and Christensen.
I don't think there's any doubt.
And Zuma's had an uncomfortable start with gave the ball to Martial, who wasn't able to take advantage, and then conceded the penalty. And as you say, Andy, well, we said it at the time, it was rather clumsy, the challenge from Zouma, who himself is another Chelsea player who's back at the parent club after loan spells. Everton last season, Stoke before that. Manchester United leading Chelsea by 1-0. Rashford's penalty. Most of them have got in on the act, haven't they, with the goals this weekend? Harry Kane, Aguero, Sterling, Salah.
Yeah,
who am I missing? Aubameyang scored today.
Ashley Barnes.
Ashley Barnes.
Quite right.
Let's not forget Ashley Barnes. Chelsea with the ball on the right-hand side. And while I have to say I did laugh there, but
they played well yesterday.
I think Barnes is. I love watching Barnes play.
They're never the same without him. He makes such a difference to that team. He's a handful. Bit of a throwback.
Zuma's clearance downfield, bounce back to him. More cheers from Manchester United, who sense the discomfort of big Kurt Zouma, who now clears it long and high downfield. Maguire's underneath that. You can guarantee that as a Manchester United player, when you've paid something like £80 million for him and he's playing his first match, everything he does will get a huge cheer, and he did for that too. Frank Lampard had a touch as well as the ball dropped onto his shiny shoes just off the field. Lampard's team 1-0 down here. Pedro on the right hand side, his cross is blocked by Maguire, out of play for a throw-in down the right hand side to Chelsea. Almost half an hour played and it has whizzed by. Chelsea, even though they're 1-0 down, have shown some promise here, and they've got the ball on the right hand side. Back it goes to Jorginho, and it gave Kovacic a bit of a challenge with the ball, which was just about neck height, but he managed to bring it down, and then Emerson's ball down the left hand side blocked out for a throw down the left flank by Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Kovacic was the only cash signing, obviously, that Chelsea were able to make this summer, completing the move. They're obviously operating under the transfer ban at the moment and for the next window as well, but because he was already registered as a loan player last season, they were able to pay the round about £40 million. And remember, of course, they signed Christian Pulisic from Borussia Dortmund in January, and he's on the bench today. Probably a little disappointed that he's not in the starting lineup. Pulisic might well see him at some stage. Here is Jorginho for Chelsea, trying to play that low ball through the middle, but Maguire steps across, cuts it out, and Manchester United now play the ball really nicely. Rashford with a touch, Lingard as well, and then Pogba is challenged, and well challenged, and Chelsea have got it back.
Yeah, Pogba didn't need. There was good football from United there. picked a few passes, found their way in behind Chelsea's midfield, and then Pogba tried to check back. Wrong option. Could have just kept going, keep striding forward. He's such a giant of a man. I think when he sees clear grass in front of him, just stride into it. No one's going to catch him.
More cheers of encouragement, this time for Jesse Lingard, for his work rate there in closing Chelsea down and conceding a throw deep inside the Chelsea half to the visitors. The Europa League winners, as Chelsea were last season under Maurizio Sarri, third place and a European trophy. As has been said, I think Frank Lampard, if you offered him that now, might well take it. In the one season that Maurizio Sarri was the manager. Here's Wan-Bissaka crossing, deflected, but Jorginho is in place there to get there ahead of Pereira. Barkley's lost it. McTominay gives it square. Lingard, he turns it to his left, and now Martial with a shot. Got underneath it. He tried to ping it, as they say, with his right foot, curl it into the top opposite corner, but it went over the bar by 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, just sort of got stuck under his feet in the end, but Ross Barkley it was, who's trying to play a short pass 30 yards from his own goal. It gets cut out very quickly. It's fed across the other side of the 18-yard box, and Martial, as I say, just gets it stuck under his feet, tries to bend it far post, top corner, and just skies it a wee bit. Ross Barkley, I think, needs to have a little bit more of an influence, as does Jesse Lingard. They've both been a little bit quiet so far.
Chelsea playing it up towards Abraham, the central striker. Now Barkley picks out a pass, excellent, to Mount. Mount then turns it back across the penalty area. Thought he was going to shoot, and I think he got it all wrong, and he was a little fortunate actually. He just snatched at it. Had time to think about it there, Andy, I think.
He did. That was much better from Ross Barkley, because that was a decent ball to Mason Mount.
Oh, lovely flick from Pedro. Mount now to Barkley, but intercepted by a sliding Wan-Bissaka, who read the danger there superbly, the United right back.
That's about 4 or 5 good situations Chelsea have had in this first half. A couple of crosses that were whipped in, flashed in, and no one got on the end of there. Mason Mount twice in quick succession got himself into a good area. They just need to try and find that end product.
Manchester United 1, Chelsea 0. United coming forward again. Here is Rashford on the left hand side. Martial makes a run through the middle. It's taken on now by Martial into the penalty area on the left hand side. Martial challenged by the evergreen, ever dependable Azpilicueta, who rather dives in on Shaw, and now Martial with a cross. Pogba got his head to it but couldn't stretch and direct it on goal. Just put off by Emerson there, I think. Wasn't able to get himself into the position that he wanted. Chelsea give it out quickly. Barkley running strongly from the centre circle. Wan-Bissaka puts in an excellent challenge. Barkley recovers well. Abraham then couldn't give it back to Barkley, and it breaks down on the edge of the penalty area. This is very, very decent entertainment here at Old Trafford. BBC Radio 5 Live on our new 5 Live Premier League Sunday, bringing you all the commentaries from the Premier League every Sunday of this season, and indeed for this season and the next couple of seasons. And more of this sort of thing, Andy.
Yeah, there's been some quality, and it's some blood and thunder about it as well. Just there, Paul Pogba, too many touches. Tammy Abraham really quick to get in and around him, and a hook sliding tackle, and Chelsea had won the ball back. Really good interception moments ago from Wan-Bissaka when Ross Barkley was in a good position. And it's that sort of surface, John, as I mentioned, we've had that burst of rain. It's playing really, really quick, so if your pass is accurate and you can get the other side of your opponent, it's very difficult. You're very difficult to stop on a day like today.
Emerson a little heavy with his challenge from behind on Rashford, who's okay. It's a free kick to United inside their own half. That fluffed effort by Mason Mount, by the way. When many years from now Mason Mount is closing in on Frank Lampard's Chelsea goal scoring record, they'll play that back to him, won't they? They'll say, do you remember this, Mason, on your competitive debut for Chelsea when you did this? And how he will laugh.
He should have shot, you're right. He should have, because they've worked it well to him, and he had a bit of room.
United with Lingard on the halfway line. Lingard looking sprightly in front of the England manager. Now Martial cutting in from the left hand side, but excellent work from Jorginho on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area to dispossess Martial, but then Chelsea give it away. Here's Pogba. It's been a real mix from Pogba so far. Pogba plays it through, the offside flags up against Rashford, who turns and puts the ball in the net. And obviously VAR will look at this, but Rashford was offside by a few yards.
Yeah, that's good play from Pogba, you're right. It's been a mixed bag from the United man so far. one or two sloppy moments in possession, but again, just there. When he picks the tempo up, he played a little ball in, got it back, and then a nice 1-2 with Martial. The through ball to Marcus Rashford. United striker was always offside.
So it's a free kick to Chelsea. And as you can hear, there,
decision, no goal.
And that's how it's being done at Old Trafford. That's what would have happened at Anfield if we'd had one the other evening. Here's Barkley now turning and shooting, and it bounces narrowly wide of the foot of the right post from 22 yards from Ross Barkley's right foot.
It's quite close. That's better from Ross Barkley. Got himself into a nice position just in behind United's central midfield pair of McTominay and Pogba. Picked the ball up, couple of touches, hits it with his right foot. They've had some good situations, and I'm just seeing images of Jody Morris and Frank Lampard. They'll be slightly frustrated that they're behind in this game, but they know there's plenty here for them if they persist.
1-0 Manchester United lead, 5 live. Half-time, 10 minutes or so away. Pedro, left-footed, shot, but straight at De Gea after cutting in from the right-hand side. But straight at the Manchester United goalkeeper. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer spotted something, suddenly appears on the edge of the coaching area alongside Mike Phelan, waving his arms, and United with the ball inside their own half. Martial turning away from Jorginho, and then Pereira. Well, Zuma dived in there and caught Pereira, and it's a free kick. I mean, this is being disputed by Chelsea, but it's a yellow card now to add insult to injury for Kurt Zuma, who's had a very, very uncomfortable first half.
Yeah, it was Anthony Martial actually, who was driving forward on the halfway line, and the ball drops for Andreas Pereira. And Kurt Zuma feels compelled to go to ground and lunge in. I'm afraid he's on a yellow card, so now he has to be far more selective with the way that he tackles and when he tackles.
Free kick then for Manchester United. Pereira, there wasn't much contact, but there was certainly enough for a free kick. He went flying, young Pereira, another one of the youngsters, 23 years old. The Belgian-born Brazilian international, number 15. He takes the free kick, and referee Taylor has spotted something in there, and he's given a free kick to Chelsea.
Not sure if it was a little nudge or a little foul right on the edge of the box. Harry Maguire it was that had peeled off far post, whether there was a little block or something, John. But Chelsea have the ball back.
Well, I'm sure it'll be a feature for Manchester United as it was for Leicester, and it is for England. Harry Maguire posing a problem and a question in the opposing penalty area. Here's Emerson taking the ball forward, and he's nudged off the ball by Pereira, and it's a free kick to Chelsea on the left-hand side. As Chelsea play from right to left as we look here, with 6 or 7 minutes to go to half-time, and Manchester United leading through that very well dispatched penalty from Marcus Rashford after his 13 goals last season. Again, that's his personal best tally for Manchester United in a season in all competitions, and much greater things are expected of him, but he's scored in the opening game. But it's a free kick for Manchester United to defend, so this will be swung in either right-footed by Mount or left-footed by Emerson. False start from Emerson. Mount plays it in towards the penalty spot. It's hooked away by Pogba back towards the centre circle, and then Emerson gives it back to Jorginho, who was stationed in the centre circle. Jorginho now to Pedro, scored one of the goals in Chelsea's Europa League final success in Baku at the end of last season. Pedro, here he is again. Pedro back into his own half, turns, plays it forward, it's deflected. United then take possession, and it's given back to Lindelof, who's under pressure but does really well. Barkley was there, Mount as well, but Lindelof took it down and turned and kept the ball, but now it's been lost again by Manchester United. And Jorginho slips it forward towards Pedro. Lovely ball from Pedro. Barkley, left side of the area, onto his left foot, shoots across goal, and it's saved by the legs of De Gea. Jorginho with a shot. That's blocked by Maguire on the edge of the box, and the ball skews away to the far side and out for a throw.
Big chance that for Chelsea. United careless on the halfway line. Martial trying to play a square ball to Pogba. It's behind the United midfielder. Chelsea quick to latch on to that. Pedro finds Ross Barkley, who really backs Victor Lindelof right to the 6-yard box, hits a shot across the goals, and De Gea saves well with his feet.
isn't it? How many he saves with his legs and his feet. David De Gea, who has been offered a new contract, not yet signed it, they say. Here's Jorginho playing the ball to the edge of the area. It's cleared away to the halfway line. Christensen. Kovacic takes on, tries to go round Lingard, and then gives it to Jorginho, who crosses aerially. Emerson's free at the back post, drives it against the underside of the crossbar, and the ball bounces right away across the face of goal and behind for a goal kick, and Emerson holds his head as if he cannot comprehend how that ball did not go in off the underside of the bar.
He should score, I actually think there, John. I do. I think this is a great opportunity. Wan-Bissaka gets very close to Victor Lindelof. The ball eludes them all. It comes to Emerson on his left foot, on the angle of the 6-yard box. He hits it so hard, he really does thump it, and it slams onto the crossbar on the top of the post and slides out almost for a goal kick right across the other side of the field. Very, very unlucky in lots of ways, but I actually think you've got to take those situations. You really should be knocking that in the back of the net.
He was free. Two Manchester United defenders went for the same ball there, Wan-Bissaka and I think Lindelof, and so Emerson was left free from the angle. He was, 10 yards out?
Yeah, if that.
It was crazy deflection, wasn't it,
If
from
that.
there to
hard and low across the goalkeeper there. I mean, he's ended up going high towards the goalkeeper's near post. Always the golden rule in that situation is thump it hard and low across the goalkeeper. If it hits a De Gea leg, it might drop out for somebody else.
That's Andy Townsend with us on 5 Live, this brand new all 5 Live Premier League Sunday, which features the new Robbie Savage 606. The phone in after everything's been wrapped up, this match is over and this first weekend of Premier League action is over. Robbie is with Emma Jones tonight. We'll let you know in the second half when the lines are open to talk to Emma and Robbie Savage on 606 tonight. And then the Monday Night Club tomorrow night. Kelly Cates will be in charge, and Chris Sutton and Ian Wright will be back together on the programme. United coming forward down the left hand side. The cross is chested down by Emerson, who's able to turn and play it out for a throw to United down the right hand side.
It's a really nice cross from Anthony Martial. Anything that bounces in and around the 6-yard box is dangerous for defenders, and Emerson, facing his own goal on the 6-yard line, gets it off his chest and hooks it out, and clears it very well. Excellent defending that.
1-0 Manchester United. Back they go to the halfway line, and here is Maguire. Don't forget, United finished last season with a 6-match run without a win. Remember the last game of the season when they lost 2-0 here to relegated Cardiff City.
That was a shock, that one, John, yeah.
So this was a really important day for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the light of what happened basically after that night in Paris. That run that they had after that, which was played 12, won 2, drawn 2, lost 8. So this, there's always pressure on Manchester United, but there was a deal of pressure on United here. And as you said before the game, the first goal was going to be really important in this match, and United scored it in the 18th minute from the penalty spot. But Chelsea have had lots and lots of chances. Barkley playing in this sort of left-sided forward position, but he's central at the moment. Mount now back to Barkley, who's in the centre circle. Pedro's put under pressure and he loses it. Good work from Shaw to win it back. Now Martial gives it back to Shaw. Lingard tells him where he wants it, but Martial is better positioned. Shaw gives it to him. Back to Shaw again. Cuts back. Still on his left foot there, in danger of losing possession. Appealed for a handball, and then it's given away by Pedro to Pogba. And now to the left-hand side. Rashford on the ball, just outside the box. Into the area now. Gives it to Martial. Rashford makes a run. Still Martial, twisting and turning. And then, well done, Christensen, to go with Martial. And Chelsea have defended that well in the end and cleared it up towards Tammy Abraham, who hit the post early on. Emerson's hit the crossbar. Other chances as well. De Gea's made saves from Barkley, from Pedro and from Mount. But Manchester United lead, and this time Barkley can't find the ball forward, and Manchester United have it again.
Yeah, good interception there from Harry Maguire, who I think's had a very confident first half in a United shirt. 2 or 3 good situations there actually for the home team in and around the Chelsea 18-yard box, just being a little bit too elaborate and allowing the blue shirts to get back and wrestle the ball away from them.
So United with the ball inside their own half. 75,000 or so people inside Old Trafford. Chelsea supporters in great voice to our right. A couple of thousand or so of them. I think they'll be quite encouraged, even though their team are 1-0 down, with what has been produced so far. Abraham loses out, so Manchester United have it again inside their own half. Pogba in this quite deep role that he's played today. Pogba, white boots, turns and gives it all the way back to Maguire behind him.
Can sense there's an element of frustration on the terraces when Pogba gets the ball. Every time he gets it, if he doesn't get rid of it quickly, and he does like to have an extra touch sometimes, unnecessarily occasionally,
which doesn't fit in with the words of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer about the use of pace, move the ball quickly. But Pogba does well here. This is good Pogba over the halfway line, gives it now to the left hand side. Martial, it's cut back from the left by Shaw, but intercepted by Christensen, and Chelsea will play it forward. And here's Mason Mount, 2 minutes of added time. Mount back to Pedro. Pedro wriggles away from Lingard, still going, the little Spaniard in the centre circle, rolls the ball across towards the left hand side here. Emerson then back to Kovacic. Now Jorginho rolls it to Emerson on the left hand side. Frank Lampard has been on the edge of the coaching area almost throughout the first 45 minutes of his life as Chelsea's manager in the Premier League. Jorginho still with the ball at the centre circle. United now with everyone behind the ball, 1-0 up, heading to half time. Emerson, Pedro's made a run out towards the left hand side near the corner flag, back to Emerson, then back again. Kovacic on his right foot, angles it to the edge of the area. That was easy for United, for McTominay to intercept under no pressure, and back it goes towards the halfway line. Chelsea start again. Kovacic, might be time for maybe one more attack. Christensen's able to curl the ball to Azpilicueta, who works it onto his right foot. A high cross now towards the far side of the penalty area, but Wan-Bissaka was underneath it, headed it away. Chelsea take up possession again though. Emerson now to Mason Mount in his yellow boots. Mount back to Kovacic, square from him. Jorginho, wonder if this is going to turn into anything for Chelsea, or whether the half-time whistle's going to go. Mount to Emerson, now to Kovacic again, 25 yards out. Jorginho, Barkley, it's very congested and tight on the edge of the Manchester United box. Jorginho back again to Emerson. Kovacic once more, then the ball goes high, but De Gea will come and will tap it down and catch it on the bounce.
15, maybe 20 passes there from Chelsea on the edge of the United 18-yard box, but United actually being quite disciplined there with their defensive work. Nobody dived in, they all stayed on their feet, just forcing people across the field, forcing them backwards. And Chelsea were just probing, teasing, trying to find that way in. They couldn't find it.
There is the half-time whistle. I must say, you see Chelsea there and you immediately think, well, if they had someone like Eden Hazard who might be able to use a bit of magic and find a way through, but those days have gone now. They have started life in the Premier League without the exciting Eden Hazard, and they are 1-0 down at half-time here at Old Trafford. Manchester United leading through the 18th minute penalty from Marcus Rashford. But I think in that first half there's been plenty to encourage the Chelsea supporters, and indeed their new manager Frank Lampard, who is about to disappear down the tunnel here. But it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side who are 1-0 up here at half-time on 5 Live and the World Service.
Andy Townsend, I don't know if you noticed it as much as I did during that first half, but Frank Lampard, every single time Chelsea gave the ball away cheaply in a bad area, he was going absolutely crazy down there. He seemed very frustrated. Yeah,
he's frustrated, Steve, I think, because he knows that his team have been very much in this game, and that he'll probably get in there right now and we'll probably be reminding them, listen, you've actually played the better football out of the two teams, and you're behind because you've just lacked concentration and a bit of focus at important times. Tammy Abraham slammed a 25-yard shot against the bar. Emerson hit the bar and post from very close range. They've had balls flashing across the 6-yard box. I actually think they've looked the more composed and had the better football out of the two teams. But what they have done, they've dived in unnecessarily in a situation in their own box, and they've conceded a penalty, and United have taken full advantage of it, Steve. But Chelsea are very much in the game, and Frank Cutt's a bit of a frustrated manager. I think he'll be pleased with what his players have given them, but I think he's frustrated because he knows that really and truly they should be in front.
was a bad error, wasn't it? I mean, you just used the word composure, the Kurt Zouma foul.
Yeah, it was an unnecessary foul, and he's had a little bit of a shaky first 45 minutes. I've got to be honest, Kurt Zouma. This is going to be new territory for him. If he's going to be in there on a regular basis, Kurt Zouma in a Chelsea shirt has only ever really been used to dropping in and filling in now and again. I think he's got it. I'll be honest. I think he's got it full on to actually become a Chelsea regular week in, week out. I really do. Rudiger, look, when he's fit, will obviously play. And I think Kurt Zouma will probably find himself again as part of the squad, but he's just looked a little bit unsure at times in certain areas, and then he dived in on the all-important moment and conceded a clumsy penalty.
Brilliant, thank you very much, Andy. Andy Townsend there, and our correspondent John Murray. Much more for them to come. We've got full second half commentary from here at Old Trafford. By the way, just a quick shout out to the referee Anthony Taylor for a brilliant advantage played in the run up to the penalty, seeing as we've been talking so much and criticising VAR over the course of the weekend. Right, coming up on 5 Live's Premier League Sunday, we're going to hear from Conor Cody on a VAR controversy for Wolves at Leicester City, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang after he scored Arsenal's winner against Newcastle, and the Newcastle manager Steve Bruce will be speaking to us too. Now let's get the news on 5 Live with Giuliano Cassidy.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
A teenager who got into difficulty in the sea off the Essex coast has died days after his sister was killed in the same incident. 18-year-old Haida Shamas and 14-year-old Malika, who are both from Luton, were pulled from the water near Clacton Pier on Thursday. Boris Johnson's vowing to come down hard on crime by increasing stop and search powers for police officers and creating more places in prison. There's been criticism of the Prime Minister's plans, though. Campaigners are concerned stop and search powers could be misused. Labour says it's a recipe for unrest. Police in West Sussex are investigating the source of a chemical incident which led to some people vomiting and suffering from sore eyes. Part of Worthing seafront was cordoned off, but the fire service says it's reopened now. And the authorities in Russia have accused Google of using YouTube to promote the recent wave of anti-government protests. Moscow's state communications regulator has written to the company demanding it stops promoting what it's calling illegal events.
BBC 5 Live.
It is the most famous celebration of the arts and entertainment in the world, and all this week from 1 I'll be live at the Edinburgh Festivals.
Nihal Arthanaika.
I'll be joined by some of the biggest names in comedy and the arts, and dozens of new acts hoping to make a name for themselves.
The biggest collection of artists showing their work anywhere it's ever happened in mankind. You have to just love it.
And I am going to be making my late night Fringe stand-up full comedy set debut. Me doing comedy live in Edinburgh. Apologies in advance.
5 Live at the Edinburgh Fringe.
Tomorrow from 1 on BBC Radio 5 Live.
More live Premier League football than anyone else.
5 Live's Premier League Sunday.
Welcome back to 5 Live Premier League Sunday with me, Steve Crossman, with you through until 6:30. Then it's 6:06 with Emma Jones and Robbie Savage. We'll let you know when you can start to get your calls in to speak to the guys after the game here at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United 1, Chelsea 0 at half-time thanks to Marcus Rashford's penalty. Already Leicester City have drawn 0-0 with Wolverhampton Wanderers today. We're going to talk now about Newcastle 0, Arsenal 1. The Gunners getting their season off to a winning start. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang got the winner.
I think it was important to start better than last season, and we did actually. We are happy that we took those 3 points, and we go back and happy.
3 years of not finishing the top 4 for Arsenal. That is the desire now of the coach and the hope of all the fans. How confident are you in the dressing room that you can achieve that goal this season?
I think we are confident because some players came this summer to help us to reach our targets. So I think we have chances. Last season we were really, really close to be in the Champions League. I think 1 point. So this season, of course, everybody's waiting to come back in the Champions League, and I think we can do it.
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang off and running in Arsenal's first game of the new Premier League season. So that, of course, means defeat for Newcastle and their new manager, Steve Bruce, who says despite the result, today was one of the proudest moments of his career.
Today, to be in charge was something else. What I did need was a result to go with it, and then and unfortunately we didn't get it, but we were close. And I think that's the big disappointment, that we've given a poor goal away. We've made a mistake, and unfortunately got punished.
There were signs, though, that those new players can deliver for you. Do you feel once everyone's bedded in and used to playing with each other, will you that little quality in the final third?
Of course. I mean, look, we've only been here 3.5 weeks, and 4 players arrived in the last week or so. So we've brought some very, very good players in. It's just now find a system, get them up and running, get them used to what the Premier League's about. Because make no mistake, it's different to any other league that I've played in before. So we hope that we can get them up and running. And but certainly in the talent they've got, then I'm quietly positive that will be a threat to anybody.
Steve Bruce there. So Newcastle beaten by 1-0 at St James's Park. It finished Leicester 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. That doesn't quite tell the whole story. Leander Dendoncker had a goal for Wolves disallowed by VAR in the second half, because in the build-up to it, the ball hit Willy Bolly's arm. Now, I was at a VAR briefing not so long ago, and they did say quite clearly, and they've been saying it to the teams as well, if a goal results after a ball hits a player's arm, doesn't have to go in off the arm, but if it leads to a goal, then they're going to disallow it. So that's why the goal was chalked off. But Wolves captain Conor Cody was unhappy with the decision.
It's a tough one from our point of view, I'll be honest with you. I think when you look at it, it's something where you have a meeting with the referees at the start of the season as a team. You really do, and they come in to try and clarify the handball situation, and it's still not clarified. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's speaking about it. It's not clarified. They tell us that if it's handball in the box, common sense will prevail, and Bolly's not looking at the ball. We're going to have to play with no arms in future, I think, in terms of going forward, because it's not clarified. It's as simple as that, and for me, we should have won the game 1-0.
And I mean, at the end of the day, football's about scoring goals, and we're now exchanging goals for talking points. We are today, anyway.
Well, that's it, and I thought it was meant to get rid of the talking points, and people will come out and say, well, that's the rule, it hit his hand, which, OK, it is his hand, I understand that, but the fact of the matter is he's not looking at the ball, he doesn't know where his hands are. I don't know what he's meant to do when he's jumping the big man. So I think from our point of view, I thought the performance was excellent. I really do, for an away performance for a first game of the season, coming to a tough place against a really, really good side. I thought we had chances, we defended fantastically well as a unison, as a team, and that's what we wanted to do, but it's just gutting that we're talking about this now and not the performance.
Match of the day 2 tonight. You'll be able to make your own mind up on Dendonker's disallowed goal. 10:30 on BBC One, everywhere apart from Northern Ireland. Results from the Scottish Premiership today: Rangers 6, Hibs 1, St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0. Now, England ended Wales's 14-match winning streak with a 33-19 win at Twickenham. Plenty to think about for England head coach Eddie Jones. He'll name his 31-man World Cup squad tomorrow, and he's been talking to Sonia McLaughlin.
Eddie, how important to get that win today, given where Wales were and given it was an experimental-looking England side?
Look, again, we've got a World Cup plan in place. We knew exactly what we wanted to do with this game and this selection, and we achieved part of the purpose of what we wanted to do, see how these boys could combine together.
Yeah, how important was it that England closed that game out, actually, because we got used to England going off to racing starts and then losing matches? So the fact that they managed to just do that, is that a big tick in the box? It's a good habit to have. Increasingly seeing Test match rugby, there's a side that gets out early in the first 20 minutes, and you've got that 40-50 minute period in the middle where it's pretty tight, there's not much space, and you've got to work really hard to keep your composure, and we did that well today. Tom Curry, he's a phenomenal young talent at open side. He was brilliant in that half an hour he played today, and he came off looking very sore. Can you just tell us how he is, because he's become integral to this England side? Yeah, he got a bit of a knock on his AC joint, and they can be quite painful, but we don't feel it's too serious, so he should be definitely right for the end of these series of games, and he's worked really hard on getting stronger and a bit more dynamic, and I think we saw part of that today. Yeah, you've got some injuries or question marks, certainly. Jack Noel, Henry Slade, Sam Underhill, Brad Shields. Are you still going ahead with naming that 31 tomorrow? You seem pretty determined to. 100%. We know where the injuries are, we know who's going to be available and who's not, and we'll announce a very strong squad of 31 tomorrow. So how does Eddie Jones spend this evening then? Is it dinner with Mrs Jones, or are you going to be sitting there just going, well, maybe not, maybe, no, we'll have a bit of a coaches get together, maybe a few red wines and relax a little bit, and we'll see which way the red wine spills. That's basically how selection works, is it? Well, that's the science of it.
That's Eddie Jones. Should say as well that Wales head coach Warren Gatland confirmed after the match that fly half Gareth Anscombe needs to have a scan tomorrow after limping off with a knee injury. Couple of results for you in Super League today. Salford Red Devils 32, Huddersfield Giants 12, Wakefield Trinity 16, Hull FC 26. Here at Old Trafford, it's Manchester United 1, Chelsea 0 at half-time. Marcus Rashford's penalty on 5 Live Premier League Sunday second half commentary coming up very soon. Right now the sprinklers have just been turned off. Chelsea substitutes, and N'Golo Kante is there warming up. Olivier Giroud, who's on the bench today. Instead it was Tammy Abraham selected in the starting 11. I wonder how long it'll be until we see the World Cup winner. So you're with us until 6:30 tonight. Then Robbie Savage and Emma Jones present 6:06. Plenty to get stuck into, I would imagine, tonight, Emma.
Yeah, cheers for that, Steve. We're going to be on straight after the game. VAR controversy, as we touched on there. I think me and Robbie are going to disagree on that one with the Wolves-Leicester game, aren't we?
Well, I heard Conor Cody's interview there saying it was harsh. Listen, the law is if it hits your arm and it leads directly to a goal, it's disallowed. The right decision, get on with it. I don't know why Wolves fans and the Wolves captain's moaning. Get over it.
I can see why they're moaning, because
the law.
pre-VAR, that would have been allowed. Nobody even second-guessed that goal until later on. It was an allowed goal and it was absolutely fine. And that's a game changer. That's a result changer.
Oh, lucky. Well done, Leicester. It's a disallowed goal. End of story. Listen, pre-VAR, VAR's here. Get on with it.
Yeah, Wolves fans, I'm sure you're not happy with that, so we do want to hear from you, definitely. Also, Newcastle fans, were you part of the boycott that happened today? Or were you there? Were you at St James's Park? We want to hear from you. Want to know what the atmosphere is like as well. And for Arsenal fans, are you happy with that result? Steve Bruce at first game.
Yeah, Steve Bruce, listen to him now. I thought, listen to Connor in commentary. I thought Newcastle done okay. It would have been great if Steve Bruce got a point at home in his first game. But Arsenal, can they finish in the top 4?
Can they? And also, Newcastle fans, we want to hear from you, whether you were there or not. United have been slightly lucky, really, in this first half, haven't they?
I thought Chelsea were magnificent. Hit the crossbar, hit the post. Frank Lampard's got a very good team playing well. United lucky to be in the lead, Emma.
I'd agree with that. Well, we want to get all your calls in nice and early. Cannot wait for this. Lines are open now. 08085 909 693. Cheers, Steve.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Perfect timing, because the Manchester United players are just retaking the field here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Chelsea 0 at half-time here, thanks to Marcus Rashford's penalty. Jose Mourinho on TV has been talking about the decision, said you'd be frustrated with Kurt Zouma when you're doing analysis. You know Rashford always goes to the inside because he loves to curl a shot inwards with his right foot. It was that clumsy Kurt Zouma challenge that gave away the penalty. Let's see how the second half plays out with Andy Townsend and John Murray.
Thank you, Steve. So 1-0 Manchester United lead. Andy Townsend is with us, Republic of Ireland international Premier League midfielder. Robbie Savage there, Andy, saying that Manchester United lucky to be winning 1-0.
Yeah, fortunate they are, because they haven't really had a significant spell in the game where Chelsea have been on the back foot and they've really been worrying them. But look, they have the lead now. How are they going to manage it? Chelsea now have to push that little bit more, John, to find a way back in.
Anthony Taylor gets the second half underway. Manchester United are attacking towards the Stretford end, to our left in the second half. Ball played through to Abraham, who is not flagged offside. Has the ball on the left-hand side. Tries to slip it across, and it is a sliding McTominay in the 6-yard box, who deflects the ball wide of his own near post for a Chelsea corner. That was a sloppy start to the second half for United.
It was, actually. Aaron Wan-Bissaka just got caught in possession a little bit, and Chelsea quickly turned the ball over. Tammy Abraham it was who ended up firing a ball across the 6-yard box. McTominay turns it round Chelsea corner.
So it is Mount to take this corner. A high one towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Zouma was after it. He was challenged, and the ball bounces out of play for what is given as a Manchester United goal kick. Mason Mount rather cheekily caught the bouncing ball and ran off towards the corner flag, and I was thinking surely that was Zouma who got the touch on that, and it was. It is a goal kick. So no substitutions at half-time. So Manchester United, De Gea, the captain, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw, McTominay and Pereira with Pogba, Lingard, Rashford and Martial. So Manchester United taking this goal kick under the new laws, the new regulations. Of course, you don't have to clear the penalty area with the goal kick. and Manchester United being penned back in there by Chelsea. So for United, no Sanchez, not involved at all, no Fred, no Dalot, Phil Jones not involved, no Chris Smalling either, incidentally, in the Manchester United 18. I'll run you through the 2 sets of substitutes as well at some point, because I'm sure that'll be of interest. But Chelsea's starting lineup: Kepa, Azpilicueta, Christensen, Zuma and Emerson. In midfield, Jorginho and Kovacic, Pedro, Mason Mount, Barkley and Tammy Abraham. Free kick, which is resulting in a yellow card for Jesse Lingard, who put that challenge in on Kovacic near the halfway line, and Anthony Taylor was quite swift there in producing the yellow card for the Manchester United midfielder.
Yep, the ball came to Pogba moments before, he overstretched and it got away from him, and then Jesse Lingard is just a bit late, catches Kovacic on the top of the foot. I think he's a fraction unlucky to actually get a yellow card. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be very aware, John, that he can't let the tempo drop out of this United performance. They don't, as much as they have the lead, they can't sit off this game too much, and I'm sure that if he needs to, it won't be long before he turns to the bench and introduce maybe Dan James, somebody to just kind of pick it up a little bit. Just gone a little bit flat.
It has, much like the atmosphere actually as well is quite quiet. Maguire steps in and plays the ball to Shaw, and then the ball forward from Shaw is way beyond the run of goalscorer Rashford. Zuma comes across, a little bit more intent from him there, and he challenges, wins the ball against Martial, who gets to his feet but just is feeling his lower left leg. Anthony Martial leaning forward, throw in to Chelsea. He is hobbling, Martial. Chelsea take the throw in. Azpilicueta has given it away, passed it back up the line straight to Luke Shaw. United now with Pogba 25 yards out, tried a sort of slip reverse pass, but it was read by Jorginho, who cut it out, and Chelsea now play to Emerson on the left hand side. 1-0 then to Manchester United. BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC World Service as well. Welcome to you to Old Trafford this afternoon, joining us on the all new 5 Live Premier League Sunday, as Manchester United appeal for what they think the supporters should have been a foul for Pedro's challenge on Shaw, but it's given only as a throw-in to Chelsea. Maybe a little nudge. Throw-in though. Azpilicueta is going to take this, the Chelsea captain. Takes it in towards Mason Mount. McTominay comes across, and Mason Mount is picked up for a foul on McTominay, so it's a free kick to Manchester United deep inside their own territory.
Yeah, cheap free kick really there to give away Mason Mount. Scott McTominay, the ball's on his chest, desperately trying to get it down onto his foot to clear it up the line.
So the Chelsea substitutes: Marcos Alonso, Kante, who was doubtful for this game, and N'Golo Kante, Kennedy, who's back from his loan at Newcastle, Olivier Giroud, Pulisic, the January signing from Borussia Dortmund, and young Tomori, the central defender. And Manchester United have Mata, Young, Dan James, young Mason Greenwood, the 17-year-old, Matic and Tuan Zebi, as well as Sergio Romero. The rain begins to fall at Old Trafford. Again, we knew it was coming. Some dirty black clouds were above Old Trafford just a few moments ago, and the heavens have indeed opened. Ball hooked forward by Rashford for Martial. Christensen towers over him, wins the ball, and then it's whipped forward, right-footed by Azpilicueta. Headed back for Manchester United. Pedro drives it out just into the wide open acres of Old Trafford, and there's plenty of it over there. Emerson, who might well have scored in the first half, hit the post and the crossbar actually with a shot. Back to Pedro, wraps his foot round a left-footed shot from just outside the D. Referee Taylor says that took a flick off the defender as it went wide of the top corner. It's a corner to Chelsea.
Yeah, Mason Mount actually made a good run in advance of Pedro there. Pedro decided to ignore the young man's run and then just drift inside onto his left foot. We've seen him do that a lot, and he's very good at that, Pedro. He can hit them from distance, and from the edge of the box he can whip them towards the top corner. I think he might have been better off there, just feeding the young man. That was a clever run.
Yes, the debutant, first senior competitive appearance for Mason Mount, who takes the corner in now. Maguire got underneath it against Abraham, headed back across the penalty area, chested down by Rashford, who runs it out into the right back position. Mount is shielding it from him. Rashford gets there first, clears it, and is fouled by Mount. and it's a free kick to Manchester United. Indeed, it was out of play actually off Rashford, so it's a throw in that Chelsea take and play all the way back towards the halfway line. At the back, here is the Dane, Christensen, finds Azpilicueta on the right hand side, up towards Abraham, but read brilliantly by Maguire, who then ran into Azpilicueta after the ball had gone, and it has gone because Jesse Lingard has carried it a long way forward and then sees his run unceremoniously ended by Jorginho, sent Lingard sprawling over the wet Old Trafford turf, and yellow card for Jorginho.
That's better from Jesse Lingard. That's the best bit of play we've seen from him in the entire game. Picked the ball up on the halfway line. He did have room to turn and drive at the Chelsea defence, and he did it very well, and Jorginho was getting nowhere near him. He knew exactly what he was doing, just cut him down in full flight, knows he's going to draw the yellow card, but of course, more importantly, disrupts that United counter-attack.
Yeah, questions being asked about Jesse Lingard at the start of this season, and he didn't really answer many of them in the first half, but as Andy Townsend says, that was better, that run, purposeful run from inside his own half. So it's a free kick, but 8 or 9 yards forward of the centre circle for Manchester United, who lead by 1-0. Pereira to take this. Bleach, blonde, top to his hair. Pereira overhits that ball down the right hand side. Wan-Bissaka gets there though, pulls it back, headed away near the penalty spot for Chelsea. Comes out to Pogba on the right hand side. Wan-Bissaka is there as well. Plays it to Lingard. Lovely turn from Lingard onto his left foot, but delayed, and then plays it square. Shaw had to make ground to his left. Shaw then to Rashford, who's on the left hand side. Rashford drops his shoulder, comes infield. Azpilicueta goes with him. Still Rashford plays the ball into the leg of Azpilicueta, gets it back, then is able to find Pogba on the right hand side. Ball across, Maguire in the penalty area, back to goal, tees up Rashford, whose shot is blocked by Christensen. This is good pressure from Manchester United, searching for the second goal. Martial on the left hand side now, he's up against Azpilicueta, bounces the ball off the Chelsea right back. Lingard back to Martial. Chelsea just parked behind the ball at the moment. Pereira back to Rashford on the left flank, swings the ball in, headed away by Abraham. Chelsea can't get out of their own defensive third. McTominay drives it into the area on the left hand side, but Barkley is there for Chelsea to dispossess McTominay and play it up towards Abraham, but across comes Lindelof to get there ahead of his teammates Shaw and Abraham and block the ball out of play for a throw-in.
That's probably the first spell in the game where United have actually had Chelsea penned in a little bit and went out to the right-hand side, then over to the left, and kept a bit of nice possession and looking for that little opportunity to find a way through. They've got to do more of that, much more of that. They're the home team, and you know, historically United have always done that. Whenever you've been up against the United team at Old Trafford, you've always had to dig in really hard, because you know there's a red tide coming at you. Haven't really seen that, John.
Jorginho curls a ball over the top of the Manchester United back line, but Lindelof was able to recover and get there ahead of Abraham. If you weren't listening in the first half, Abraham hit the post with an absolutely rifling shot very early on in the game. Chelsea had lots of other chances, De Gea making saves, particularly from Barkley with his legs, and then Emerson. I think that was the best chance, wasn't it, that Chelsea had. Emerson from the angle, he hit a shot, went high at the near post, and it actually clipped the bar and the post as it came out. Cross from Azpilicueta, headed away. Emerson with a shot, saved by a diving De Gea. It was close-ish to him, but Emerson hit that well, and he had to drop to his left and parry it away from safety. So there's another save that De Gea has made after his uncertain form at the end of last season. Very patchy, De Gea. He's played an important part for Manchester United here. Chelsea again impressing in this second half, as they did in the first, when they're coming forward. Jorginho steps back, plays it out towards Emerson on the left hand side. Emerson, and then Kovacic, being put under pressure, will actually roll it all the way back into the centre circle. Manchester United leading by 1-0. Lines are open for the new Sunday 606 tonight with Robbie Savage and Emma Jones. 08085 909 693 is the number to call to take part in the 606 phone-in. Get in touch, 85058 on the text. Chelsea coming forward with Barkley near the edge of the box. United block it on the edge of the area. Comes back to Mount now to Kovacic. Kovacic square from him. Jorginho has a little look over his shoulder does a full 360, and then finds the tousle-haired Mason Mount. Little ball forward to Barkley. United clear that, and then McTominay is caught there, I think, by Barkley. The ball had gone almost when the challenge came in, and McTominay is writhing around. It was actually Abraham who caught McTominay, and actually for that it's a yellow card for Tammy Abraham. And
you see it here, John, now. Yeah. He's actually a little unlucky again, Tammy Abraham there. He's run from the side of Scott McTominay to try and disrupt his forward pass, and as McTominay's actually hit the ball and his legs gone forward, Tammy Abraham has clattered into it and has got a yellow card for his efforts.
They're actually checking for a red card for this, but that's going to be that surely is just a yellow card. Well, they've announced that there is a VAR check.
No red card.
And as you can hear, the decision is no red card.
VAR complete.
It feels like it's coming from another world, doesn't it? It feels like Big Brother is watching from somewhere up there. Ross Barkley is going to be the first player substituted, and he's replaced by the new arrival. He was signed in January from Borussia Dortmund, the USA international, Christian Pulisic, just 20 years old. Feels like we've been talking about his promise for a long time, and Chelsea paid nearly £60 million, 58 million or thereabouts. Went back on loan for the remainder of last season, and now Christian Pulisic is on to make his Premier League debut for Chelsea.
Very gifted, very talented individual, and again now Chelsea, as the clock is slowly starting to tick away, they need people that can maybe make the difference. And Ross Barkley had one or two moments, but it's a bit of a typical Chelsea performance for Ross. One or two signs of something half decent, but not enough.
And playing in this role, sort of left-sided of going forward for the most part today for Chelsea. I mean, I've seen him play there for England, for Gareth Southgate. Occasionally seen him there for Chelsea, but you feel like Barkley wants to be more involved, wants to be more central. But Chelsea with the ball to Azpilicueta on the right-hand side. Azpilicueta taking it on. Manchester United leading by 1-0. 5 live in the World Service. And then Azpilicueta is forced to make the error by Rashford, and it's a throw into Manchester United halfway inside their own territory. So just over half an hour to play. United still leading through the Rashford penalty. Earlier, Leicester 0, Wolves 0. Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 1. We heard from Steve Bruce at half-time. Rangers winning 6-1 against Hibs, St Mirren 1-0 against Aberdeen, and England 33-19 winners against Wales in the World Cup warm-up match at Twickenham that you might have been listening to earlier on 5 Live Sports Extra. Here in the Premier League on 5 Live, it is Pulisic with his first meaningful touch in the Premier League. Does well, looks for the ball back and is blatantly blocked, and he's down. And he's taken a bang in the ribs.
I tell you what, it's great skill from him. He's received a straight ball running back towards his own goal, and he's spun out on the angle, played a brilliant little 1-2, and he's got completely poleaxed by Paul Pogba. Bit of a body check there, but for your first touch, that's a welcome to the Premier League, John, because he's trying to get the wind back in his sails there.
I feel like his teammates will say, when they talk about the Premier League being quite physical, ball down the left for Pulisic, but that is just beyond him and out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United. It's funny, Andy, I don't know how much you've seen him over the year. Whenever I've seen Pulisic, and you hear such great things about him, it's just so happened when I've happened to see him, he's never particularly caught the eye. No. So he's one of those players where I sort of think, well, he must be doing well in the games I'm not seeing.
Yeah.
Ball played across the field brilliantly by Pogba, who picks out Shaw, curling pass. It was right towards us, into the path of Luke Shaw. When you see Pogba do that sort of thing, the quality is there. Here's Pereira now. But ran into trouble. It's a little fortunate that McTominay was behind him, and he gives it to the right-hand side to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka now low into the penalty area. Pereira with a touch. Jorginho's in there. Had to be careful as Martial was there too. I think you just see the effect there, that the players know that VAR is watching. In that sort of position, that was sort of written across Jorginho's body language, that he knew he had to be careful. And it's a corner.
Absolutely right. Can't get away with anything now. You have to make sure that you're fully focused and aware. Stay with your runners, stay with your men. Don't be the one to let the team down doing something stupid.
United lining up the 4 men for the corner beyond the penalty spot. Here's the delivery from Pereira, looking for Maguire, heads it across the penalty area onto the head of Mason Mount, who was able to get it away for Chelsea, and then Tammy Abraham clears it long and out of play near the halfway line. How do you think he's done so far, Abraham, by the way?
Well, look, he had a fantastic effort first half, which, if it's 3 inches to the right, it would have hit the post and given David De Gea no chance. It would have ended up in the back of the net. I think he's done okay, John. I wouldn't say he's been spectacular, but he's worked very hard. It's not easy. It's never easy playing up front on your own. And Chelsea have had some of the very best at that. They're like the Drogbas of this world. This is a young boy that has scored goals in the league below, and this is all very, very new to him. He's a big lad. He has all the attributes that you'd look at in a centre forward that can play up there on his own. He's strong, he can hold it up very well, he's quick, technically he's sound, but he'll be judged on goals, he'll be judged on output, and that's what Chelsea will need. So I'm sure Frank will have him in some weeks and he'll be out the next, and he'll have to sit and watch a little bit as well, watch Giroud and co. But he can be reasonably well pleased with what he's given so far, and very unlucky, desperately unlucky with this beautiful strike he had in the first half.
Yep, the width of a post from scoring his first competitive goal for Chelsea. And remember, this is only his 4th appearance for the Chelsea first team in a competitive match. 1-0 Manchester United lead, 5 live in the World Service, 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Emma Jones on the way. Lines are open. Chelsea bringing it forward. Kovacic works it to the left-hand side. Here is Emerson, his cross deflected down into the ground, still inside the penalty area. Mount takes it back out towards the left flank for Chelsea. Back to Kovacic. Kovacic runs his foot over the ball and then gives it to Emerson. Back to Kovacic again. And Kovacic being forced back towards the halfway line and actually uses Christensen there. Again, Kovacic. Here to the right-hand side to Azpilicueta.
I don't know what the numbers are, John, the stats numbers, but Chelsea have had again, started this second half, much better possession of the ball and taken better care of it in the United half. United at the moment sat back, pretty much everyone back behind the ball apart from Martial as we speak, and they've got to be careful here.
Giroud's going to come on, Andy, very shortly. Ball up to Abraham in the D, back to goal. Maguire right tight to him. Abraham goes down, Maguire gets a touch on it, no free kick. Abraham still sitting on his backside as Manchester United break downfield, but Rashford's pass to his mate Lingard was a little overhit. However, United still have it. Pereira's ball across, and it's turned in the middle. Martial was there in the 6-yard box, held off Azpilicueta and managed to force it past Kepa on the line, and it's 2-0 to Manchester United. That was a lightning break from Manchester United. One end, down to the other, ball in the net. Rashford scored with a penalty in the first half. Now Martial in the second, and Manchester United lead by 2-0 for all of the chances and opportunities Frank Lampard's Chelsea have had. It's Manchester United who are 2-0 up.
Yeah, it was Harry Maguire who made an important challenge right on the edge of his own box. He released Marcus Rashford, who just drove right at the heart of the Chelsea defence. His pass to Jesse Lingard sent him a little bit wide, but when the ball come back to Andreas Pereira, he flashes it across the 6-yard box, and Anthony Martial is right there. He's just the other side of Emerson, who's just ball watching a little bit, and he's managed to get a really good touch on that. Azpilicueta, who's the Chelsea defender, who's just the wrong side, and Martial, he almost mishits it from one leg onto the other, and it flashes past Kepa.
Yeah, it won't mention that, Andy, in the newspaper in the morning, will it? Or indeed on the website.
You know what, he's done well, because he's got his body in front of Azpilicueta and he's kept it there. He's not allowed the Chelsea man to get the other side. Good ball in from Pereira, really good fast delivery in, and out of nothing again United, to their credit, have broke forward and scored.
And here's another ball over the top, taken down brilliantly by Rashford. 3-0. Chelsea are claiming offside. There's no flag. Rashford took that away superbly, one-on-one with the Chelsea goalkeeper. Composed finish, and Manchester United suddenly are running away with this. Second goal of the day for Rashford, 3-0.
Incredible, lovely finish. That's the sort of finish Marcus Rashford is going to be judged on. He's got a one-on-one. He's through in behind the Chelsea defence. Goalkeeper to beat, and he slots it past him beautifully, coolly, comfortably. Great composure shown. And the United players, good to see them. They're in a huddle right in the corner flag at the Stretford end, and they're celebrating that. I'm just seeing the replay. He's onside. It's a great run. It's a perfectly timed run. Christensen and Azpilicueta are a little bit square. They're all ball watching. And out of nothing, this time it's Pogba who picks his head up. It's a beautiful pass, I've got to tell you. It's a brilliant Paul Pogba pass, and it's a very accomplished finish from Marcus Rashford.
Superb from Pogba. That was Pogba at his best, when he picks out a pass like that.
Beautifully struck. Inch perfect, right amount of weight. Rashford just had to have one touch, takes him right to the edge of the box, just inside, slots it with his side foot past the on-rushing Kepa. And from nowhere, John, United have a 3-goal lead.
2 goals in 2 minutes. 65th minute, Martial. 67th for Rashford, his second of the day. Chelsea have brought on Olivier Giroud for Tammy Abraham. Chelsea 3-0 down in this match. It's a cruel game, isn't it? It's a cruel world. Frank Lampard knew that anyway, but they will have better days than this. Of that there is no question, but things have conspired against them here. Manchester United have taken their chances. It's a little bit of frustration now from Chelsea, from Azpilicueta. You know, you'll feel that here he'll be angry, won't he, that Martial got the better of him for his goal in the 6-yard box. Just hint of a reaction as he won a free kick, and now Kovacic bringing it forward, and he's been tripped, and it's a free kick to Chelsea. But you would think we're into the last corner of the match now, that the game's gone for Chelsea.
Yeah, it'll take a miracle to turn this one round. And if they can get something, who knows, we've seen it happen before, but it's going to be very, very difficult. Yep, Giroud on, obviously, for Tammy Abraham, so he needs a bit of service. They need something whipped in from those wide areas. Amazing, though. Amazing, because again, at the start of the second half, Chelsea was showing good composure. They were keeping the ball deep into United territory without really working De Gea. And then those 2 goals, rapid fire, very quick succession. And all of a sudden, United now very comfortably in front.
Just when it did, was that a yellow card for? No, was it Lindelof?
I don't know.
Yeah,
John.
it was Lindelof, yellow card. Anthony Taylor just for that trip on. Here, the free kick into the penalty area for Zuma, who got up high but heads it over the crossbar by 2 or 3 yards. Yeah, Lindelof booked for the trip on Kovacic. Fired into the penalty area, the free kick, but Zuma didn't threaten the goal. And now, well, as I mentioned, Andy, at one point early in the second half, the atmosphere was a little quiet, a little bit of uncertainty. The fact that United had been second best, but 2 goals in 2 minutes changes all of that. 20 minutes to play. David De Gea takes this goal kick square across his penalty area to Lindelof, who just hits it away downfield, and Chelsea have to start again from inside their own half. Chelsea not able to use Kante today. N'Golo Kante can't be far off fitness because he is on the bench. Willian, of course, will be still part of the picture. Jorginho's lost possession on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area, and United not able to take advantage with Lingard after Rashford won it back. Chelsea breaking downfield. Pedro up to the edge of the penalty area. Blue shirts available on both sides of him. It's Emerson here on the right hand side. Left-footed shot, but it bounces straight at De Gea, who's able to drop forward and clutch the ball into his chest.
Yeah, and in no rush now, the United goalkeeper to get everything going. He throws it back out to Luke Shaw, but what they've got to do, United, now, they've an extremely healthy lead. Now they've got to keep possession, keep the ball, make Chelsea work. Nothing worse when you're 3 down at this ground and they're enjoying themselves and the fans are enjoying it. It can be a tough place.
Say that, McTominay loses possession, taken on through the middle by Kovacic, but it comes to nothing. Just ran into red shirts on the edge of the area, and here is Pogba, who I'm sure will be lauded, and rightly so, for that pass for Rashford's second goal. Match of the day tonight, Jermaine Genius and Philip Neville are alongside Jason Mohammed for match of the day. BBC One, 10:30, 11:30 in Northern Ireland. And you can see the highlights of this in today's other Premier League matches. Leicester 0, Wolves 0. We've heard about the VAR incident there. I'm sure Robbie and Emma Jones will be talking about that on 606. And Arsenal 1-0 winners at Newcastle.
Do you know, John, the only thing I saw, I was at West Ham yesterday doing the West Ham City game. The only thing about the VAR decisions yesterday, which I felt was a little strange, was watching the players once they'd scored. Once City kept, obviously they scored 5 in the end, but whenever they scored a goal, it was a kind of half-hearted celeb whilst they were waiting for the check and waiting to get the all clear. Yeah, it's okay, it stands. That's something that's, we love to see players scoring goals. This is what it's all about. And you want to see them celebrate with their fans, but they were just having to check their shoulder all the time to make sure it counted.
Here's Azpilicueta playing it to the edge of the area, but it was beyond Pulisic, and Wan-Bissaka was able to control it and clear it away, which they do to Martial on the right-hand side, but it's touched out of play by Zuma. But that's how it is. That is life under VAR, and we just have to get used to it.
Yes,
it's the same way in cricket. When a wicket's taken, sometimes you're not sure. Kante is now going to come on to replace Jorginho. Not absolutely at his sparkling best, Jorginho, today.
No, and again, I think Frank Lampard mindful now that United being 3 up. I think he just doesn't want this to get any worse.
And we are now going to see a Premier League debut for this exciting young Welsh international, Daniel James, who was signed from Swansea in the summer for just over £15 million, and he's going to replace Pereira. And here is an Old Trafford welcome for this exciting, very quick Welsh international, 21 on his back, born in England, but he's already played 4 times for the Welsh national team, and every Manchester United supporter, I'm sure, will know already just how fast he is and what he might be able to do. So he's on for his Premier League debut with Manchester United 3-0 up. What a position to be in. Chelsea coming forward, but Maguire is able to clear the cross from the left-hand side by Pulisic, halfway up the lower tier of the Sir Alex Ferguson stand for a throw.
Yeah, good defending there from Harry Maguire. Gets himself into that nice position in the gully as Pulisic whips that one towards the 6-yard line. The big centre-half is there to get a nice block on it and just send it back out for a throw-in.
Cheers for Pereira. Have to say, Andy, I was by no means certain that Pereira would start the match today in the Manchester United midfield, but he's been cheered, having left the field on the far side, another one of the new laws. He's been cheered all the way by the Stretford end and indeed by the Sir Bobby Charlton stand that we're sitting in as he makes his way back to the dugout. That's actually quite nice, isn't it, for a player leaving the field on the far side to be able to do that in your home ground. Might not be so nice.
I was going to say, when Man City come here and one of their players has to do it, John, we'll see.
Yes. Kovacic is fouled, so it's a free kick to Chelsea in the central third of the field. Great for James to come on this position.
Perfect environment to introduce Dan James, and let's hope he can get the ball at his feet, get on the half turn and run at Zuma or run at Emerson.
I was actually saying to you, Andy, at half-time, wasn't I, that this might be a formation that we'll see against certain opponents, where you have James on the left, actually Rashford on the left, Martial through the middle, Lingard behind. Kante hits a ball straight off the field. That's got almost the biggest cheer of the day. Yeah, tough for Chelsea this. They've played really encouragingly for Frank Lampard, but they're 3-0 down here at Old Trafford. And then the great winner, N'Golo Kante, great favourite, Premier League winner in 2016 and 2017, World Cup winner in 2018, Europa League winner in 2019, kicks the ball straight off the pitch. Here is Rashford down the left-hand side. Rashford does well, stands up to the first challenge, but Kante is there. Pedro, who is the man who put in that first challenge on Rashford that he shrugged off, has got the ball and then gives it back to Azpilicueta, but Maguire's there to head it forward. He claims that it came off Azpilicueta as it bounced through. Lingard's protesting about this, but it is a goal kick that was given by Anthony Taylor. So 3-0 Manchester United lead. Five Lives Premier League Sunday. You're also with us on the BBC World Service around the globe, and it is 6:06 on the way with Robbie Savage. The all-new Sunday 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Emma Jones tonight. 08085 909 693 if you want to join in the conversation, join in the phone in, text 85058. as there is a handball against Olivier Giroud. So it's a free kick to Manchester United, 6 or 7 yards inside the Manchester United half. Giroud protests his innocence. Came on when Chelsea had just conceded their third goal. Olivier Giroud.
Some harsh realities of Premier League football for some of those younger Chelsea players today. Giving a decent account of themselves. I watched Aston Villa yesterday at Spurs, and for an hour they were very competitive, particularly in the first half. They were very good, and in the end Harry Kane slots 2 in and it's all over.
Here is little James on the right hand side. First time we've seen that pace. Emerson went with him, did well actually, the Chelsea left back, and was able to recover and block it behind for a corner to Manchester United.
He's quick and positive, isn't he, Dan James? That's what the United fans will love. Don't want a young wide player just keep dropping it back, get to that byline and flash things across the box.
So here is the resulting corner towards the near post, which is cleared away by the outstretched leg of Zuma. It's kept in play on the far side by Wan-Bissaka, and then back he goes into his own half to Lindelof into the last 15 minutes now. But it looks as though the points are secure for Manchester United, winning 3-0. Rashford's penalty in the first half. Martial and Rashford scored within 2 minutes of one another in the second. Free kick for a little trip, a little foul on Rashford. I think it's going to be okay. So it's a free kick to Manchester United, just in front of where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is. In fact, it's Mike Phelan who's standing there. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's in his seat in the stand at the moment. Frank Lampard standing with his hands in his pockets now, just to the left. He, and indeed we, are off to Istanbul with them this coming week, as Pogba very nearly gave the ball away halfway inside his own half. Wan-Bissaka and Manchester United passing it away from inside their own half, but Zuma then lifts it into the stand on the far side. Yeah, it's the Super Cup, the UEFA Super Cup on Wednesday night. You will hear that live from Istanbul on 5 Live from inside the stadium. We'll have news as well of the Liverpool and Chelsea media conferences on Tuesday night's 5 Live Sport, when we will have commentary from the Carabao Cup. Salford Leeds is our commentary match on Tuesday night, which should be interesting, but all of the matches covered. And then the Super Cup live from Turkey on Wednesday evening. United with Pogba. Pogba sees the pass to Rashford on the left-hand side. Rashford now taking it on, cuts inside the defender, but then in comes Kante to intercept at the crucial point, Andy.
Great tackle that, wasn't it? For all the will in the world there, it looked like Marcus Rashford was again chopping back onto his right foot and about to hit that from the edge of the box and really test Kepa. Really lovely counter-attack, but see, that's what N'Golo Kante offers the team that Jorginho can't. Kante gets across the ground and makes that block, smothers that shot. And you need that. I really think you do need that. The little man is limping a little bit after that challenge, and that'll be a little bit of a concern, I would have thought.
Kovacic playing the ball forward towards Giroud, who is quite strongly challenged by McTominay, and it is a free kick. And yellow card for, is that from Martial?
Looks like it. It looks like it. He's the one who seems to be complaining.
What was that for?
Well, it was either for dissent at the decision, and whether or not he kicked the ball away.
That's a strange one. So Martial is yellow carded. Not entirely sure what he did. Free kick forward and left of the centre circle, and the United supporters around us getting to their feet and applauding something over to our left hand side.
I think they're seeing Jose Mourinho in the box.
Aha, right. Pogba taking the ball on, giving it to Martial, who gives it back to Pogba, and Pogba bursting forward from the halfway line, slips the pass to James on his right foot, shoots, deflected across and in. Daniel James scores on his Manchester United Premier League debut in front of the Stretford end, and he's going absolutely berserk. What a brilliant moment. What a superb moment for this 21-year-old. He makes it 4-0 to Manchester United, and that certainly, I think, goes down as the most popular moment of this opening Premier League day at Old Trafford. He's still being surrounded, Andy, by his teammates in that corner. 4-0 against Chelsea.
Fantastic run from Paul Pogba. I mean, sensational run from Pogba. Brilliant little through ball. And looked like maybe the ball had just, or Dan James had just delayed his shot just a little bit too long. But you know what? This is what Pogba can give you that no other United player can. Very few players can. He's deep in his own territory, plays a 1-2 with Martial, and once he's running, they can't get anywhere near him, the blue shirts. And then he just pokes a really clever little through ball, and Dan James has just let it get away from him, and then he hits it, a little deflection off of Emerson, and it flies past Kepa. What a debut that is. What a moment for Dan James. He rushes straight to the corner flag and celebrates with the United fans. They're 4 up. And you wouldn't have thought that 20 minutes into this game.
Well, how rough is this on Chelsea? 4-0.
Yeah, look, it is a bit rough, John. Yes, it is. It's tough, and but they've gone under a little bit too easy. Second half, I don't think Frank can have too many complaints about what he's seen second half, because the goals have gone in a little bit too easy.
Well, you can hear what the Manchester United fans are singing. Frank Lampard has disappeared from the edge of the coaching area. He's on his seat, but he'll hear this. You're getting sacked in the morning.
Without the ball, the Premier League is massive. You know, you've got to have some substance to your team, and you've got to resist. And I thought Chelsea have, you know, in the first half in particular, were the better team. But at 4-0, no, they've gone under a little bit too easy in the end.
Chelsea bringing it forward with Giroud, who works the ball to the edge of the penalty area, but it's cleared away. Pulisic trying to reach it, but United got it away up towards Rashford. Azpilicueta, I mean, there's no better battler for Chelsea than him. I must say, he does well. He is frustrated. He's gone to ground against Lingard, and he's hacking away at the ball. He's fortunate that he didn't catch Lingard there, otherwise he would have been yellow carded, I'm sure. United have got it. Olays, Maguire back to De Gea, Giroud racing around. De Gea plays it across to the far side. I think, you know, that was a little bit of Manchester United. Mistake by Wan-Bissaka, knocking the ball around at the back. He's knocked it straight out for a corner to Chelsea. I think that was a little bit of United fans getting their own back on Chelsea, because I distinctly remember Chelsea supporters singing to Mourinho,
yeah,
you're getting sacked in the morning, when he was manager of Manchester United. It's a corner to Chelsea, just over 5 minutes to play. Here it is, a deep one to the back post. Maguire gets his head to it, as he invariably does. Greenwood and Mata are waiting to come on as a double substitution for Manchester United. Chelsea winning it back with Kovacic, Pulisic turns it to his right to Giroud, and the big man holds it up, plays it to Pedro, now to Mason Mount, onto his right foot, shoots. That took a deflection, and De Gea does well actually to go down to his right and grab it securely.
Lucky from Mason Mount, who I think has actually done very well for Chelsea today. He's continually showed for the ball, he hasn't shied away from it. He's been one of the brighter sparks for Frank Lampard. That shot, slight deflection, but De Gea smartly to his right, gathers it at the post.
He's had a good day, De Gea, after all of those mistakes that he made in the latter stages of last season. Manchester United's captain, as Rashford is challenged by Kante. Ball runs out of play, and we will see, first of all, Jesse Lingard make way. So Juan Mata will come on for him. Anthony Taylor points him the way. Jesse Lingard today, Andy Townsend?
Better second half, better, more influential. Didn't see him really for 20-25 minutes in the first half, but better as the game went on.
Juan Mata comes on, signed a 2-year contract, you know, at the early part of the summer. Juan Mata to stay at Manchester United, even though he's 31 years old, and with an option of another year. And we will also see Mason Greenwood come on for only his 5th appearance, competitive appearance for the Manchester United first team. The 17-year-old of whom great things are expected, and he's taken up a position, the number 26, over on the right-hand side. So where's Daniel James gone? He's over now on the left-hand side.
Yeah, he's come out here down the left side. Just looking away to my left, seeing Petr Cech and Bruce Buck and all the Chelsea hierarchy. They'll have all been excited about the season and the prospects of this young team and what they can do. Well, they've just had a bit of a rude awakening this afternoon. United haven't been special, but they've been ruthless second half when they've needed to be.
Haven't they just? 1-0 at half-time, 3 more goals followed in the second, and really the 2 in 2 minutes knocked the stuffing out of Chelsea. McTominay now clipping a ball to the right-hand side. Wan-Bissaka, this is what he loves to do, getting forward, in space, pulling the ball across. Greenwood, who's in the middle, got his right instep to it, but it was blocked by a Chelsea defender on the edge of the 6-yard box. And now Manchester United pressing for a 5th goal. I don't think any of us saw that scenario when we headed to Old Trafford today.
No. Good ball that from Wan-Bissaka. It's much better quality up in that top third. It whips it across the 6-yard box, and actually better contact maybe from Mason Greenwood. If he'd have been on a little bit longer, might have had a chance there.
A word from you, Andy, as well on how you feel that the 2 men who made their Premier League debuts for Manchester United from the start have done, the defenders Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire.
I think Harry Maguire, right up to now, with just a few minutes left, John, has been faultless really. He's done his job, he's made sure he got tight and denied Tammy Abraham, and he'll try and do the same now, I'm sure, to Olivier Giroud. Wan-Bissaka again, I think, has done well. He showed first half that when he's got to defend one-on-one, he's good at that. Once or twice second half, he's got forward to good effect.
Mason Mount bringing the ball on and giving it to Pulisic, who comes inside and shoots, but it's blocked on the edge of the area, I think by Wan-Bissaka. A couple of United defenders were there. 4-0 Manchester United lead. Azpilicueta with a cross. Maguire is there to head it away. Pulisic was arriving, but Maguire just ignored him and headed it away powerfully to comparative safety. 5 Live on the World Service. On 5 Live, Robbie Savage and Emma Jones coming up with 606 08 085 909 693 if you want to contribute to that. If you're a Wolves supporter, Arsenal supporter, on the way home, your thoughts on those games, and obviously Chelsea and Manchester United fans too. Here is Emerson, ball into the near post. Pedro is there, got to it, but could only head it down and wide of the near post.
Wow, having got there, Pedro feel he should score. It's a great ball in from Emerson from Chelsea's left-hand side. Pedro makes a run towards the near post, almost on the corner of the 6-yard box. Makes good contact, but it just flashes the wrong side of the post.
The chances they've had, Andy. I mean, De Gea making saves in the second half. That one, Mason Mount in the first half, hit the post through Abraham. Emerson with that shot that was the clearest chance they've had. Barkley's efforts, another one from Mount that was saved. But it's a clean sheet Manchester United are keeping.
And there's 2 sides to this game. There are. Whenever we focus on young players, we focus on their qualities with the ball and the way they can express themselves, and we love that. We want to see all of that. But there are 2 sides to Premier League football.
Dan James down the left-hand side, challenged and tripped by N'Golo Kante. And that's a yellow card as well.
Quite rightly, actually. Lovely skill from Dan James. Shaped to drop it back and then spun towards the byline. N'Golo Kante wasn't going to catch him and just blatantly tripped him up.
4th Chelsea player, Zuma, Kante, Jorginho and Abraham, all yellow carded. Manchester United winning 4-0. We're in the 90th minute now, and 4 minutes of added time will be played. We'll have the 5 Live Football Daily podcast available for you in the morning via BBC Sounds. United will feature prominently. All of the interviews will appear on there. We'll try and get live interviews as well during 606 from the tunnel here at Old Trafford. Pogba playing a ball out to Maguire. Wan-Bissaka missed his kick, still going, comically almost. Greenwood was there as well. I think he managed to get out of the way of Wan-Bissaka as he took it on, and Chelsea were able to clear. That had the touch of the bull in the china shop from Wan-Bissaka there. Here is Mata back to Wan-Bissaka, and United go all the way back towards the halfway line. 73,620 is the official attendance inside Old Trafford. Harry Maguire gets another Olé. Now McTominay and United with Mason Greenwood. I remember him coming on for his debut in that match in Paris right towards the end, Mason Greenwood, and he was going to be back in school, wasn't he? Was it the next day or on the Friday?
Something like that, wasn't he? Yeah,
that's right.
But he's clearly a talent. All the United players I work with John. All speak so highly of him. He's obviously a very special talent.
McTominay sending a ball over the top through the middle for Martial, who is flagged offside. But United 4-0 up after finishing the season so miserably. Chelsea 4-0 down after winning a European trophy in their last competitive match. Their last match under Maurizio Sarri. Europa League winners comprehensively against Arsenal in Baku. But it's all changed, everything's different. New manager Frank Lampard having to cope with this transfer ban and having to work pretty much with what he's got. But I'd be confident that there will very soon be better days than this. James challenged and fouled from behind by Azpilicueta. After Istanbul, it's Leicester at home next Sunday for Chelsea.
Right.
And then Norwich away.
Not an easy game. Well, look, of course we know that very few games actually when you look back in the season where you thought you had it easy, but Leicester have got a decent group of players as well. What they mustn't do is get too despondent, too down after today's performance. There were moments, I'm sure Frank will go through that with the players, where they were very good in that first 45 minutes.
Ball went back well by Emerson against Wan-Bissaka on the halfway line. Now Chelsea coming forward with the cross from Pulisic, but that drifts away over the top of Olivier Giroud and will bounce harmlessly out of play for a throw into Manchester United. Wan-Bissaka, after that really strong challenge from Emerson, has stayed down over there on the far side. He's covered an awful lot of ground, Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, and he does that very well. That's that aspect to his game. I mean, I said he's a ferocious athlete. He is. He really can get up and down. And I've seen a couple of those brilliant challenges that we were accustomed to when he was in a Palace shirt. He was often having to defend. Now in a United shirt, he might have a little bit more freedom to get forward and get across that halfway line. And once or twice second half, he's whipped in some good quality, John.
He's okay. He's back on his feet and he's back in position. Play back underway. We're in the fourth minute of added time. You know, there'll be a great deal of talk, won't there, from Chelsea about so many positives despite this comprehensive scoreline. But, you know, as Chelsea come forward with Giroud, Pulisic running through the middle. Now Emerson drives the shot from the angle that De Gea is able to get a good sight of. Stayed on his feet and was pushed it up and over.
Yeah, everything that Chelsea have flashed on target. David De Gea has been the match of it. You know, he's got himself into... he looks nice and sharp after, as you said, John, some funny... uncharacteristic De Gea performance is much better today.
Mount's latest corner for Chelsea, deep to the back post. Maguire's underneath it to head it away, and there is the final whistle. 4-0 to Manchester United. Terrific start to the new season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but Frank Lampard, what a sobering experience this is for his first Premier League match as the new manager of Chelsea. He reaches forward, shakes hands with Mike Phelan, and indeed finds Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. There will be a pointing towards lots of positives for the way that his team played and the chances they created. But what strikes me, Andy, is what you said about them going down too easily in the second half, Chelsea.
Yeah, look, I enjoyed the afternoon, and congratulations United. A lot of pressure on them today. More pressure on the United team, of course, here at Old Trafford than Chelsea. But after a really, really good first 45 minutes, Chelsea in the end went under too easy. And yes, there are positives to draw upon, and there are some good aspects to their game. But Frank's been a winner, a serial winner at Chelsea, and they didn't get that by having a soft underbelly and too easy to roll over. Today, Chelsea were too easy to roll over in the end, John, and that's something that they've got to sort out straight away.
Well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has just turned, put his coat on, and has walked straight away down the touchline. He's applauding now. They're applauding back to him in the Stretford end. He's about to disappear. There's a clenched fist as well from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as he disappears. That is an extremely good day's work for Manchester United to start the new Premier League season. For Chelsea, Frank Lampard stands on the pitch, still applauding the Chelsea fans. 1-0 at half-time, the Rashford penalty. That first goal, as we said, so important. 1-0 at half-time, but then in the second, Martial, Rashford again, those two goals within 2 minutes. Daniel James scoring on his Premier League debut towards the end of the match. So a final scoreline here at Old Trafford as the rain comes down again of Manchester United 4, Chelsea 0.
Andy Townsend, when you look at the script of the game, both of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's recognised strikers score, his new defenders slot in pretty much seamlessly, and his new winger comes off the bench to get a goal. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had wanted to write the opening day of this season, he probably wouldn't have got it as perfect as that.
He certainly couldn't have. He'd have been dreaming about that, I'm sure, Steve, last night. But you're right. It didn't feel that way, didn't look that way after 20 minutes of the game, because Chelsea came here and had good control of the ball and had a threat. But as we finish, as we're all set to all make our way home this evening, a fantastic day's work for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. A tricky game, always a tricky first game against one of the establishment, but they've overcome them, and they've overcome them with 4 goals and some real positive performance and a great vibe around Old Trafford as the players leave the field. I haven't experienced that too much too lately.
And Paul Pogba is the last Manchester United player to leave the field. As I speak, he's just ripping his shirt off and giving it to a fan in the Stretford end. The transformation for Paul Pogba over these 90 minutes. I mean, 2 brilliant assists in the second half. But you mentioned it in commentary. In the first half, when he got the ball, there was this sort of whisper of discontent.
There was. That's a very good way of putting it, Steve. There was. Every time he got the ball and he didn't dispatch it quickly, or it didn't find its intended target, there was a collective groan and a bit of a sigh. As the game wore on, he became more influential. Look, he can do stuff that no other United players, certainly midfield players, there's nobody else in this United camp that can offer the sort of quality that he has. We saw that a few times second half. The brilliant through ball for Rashford, the magnificent powerful run to give Dan James the chance to get his goal. Nobody can do that here at Manchester United other than Paul Pogba. So when he left the field, as you say, took his shirt off, give it to the fans. Hopefully now he can build upon this. What he's got to do is not allow his next performance to be one of those 6 out of 10 ones. He's got to keep it at 7 and 8. It's got to stay there every week. If he does that, he can be such an influence on this team.
He's had a lot to say over the course of the summer about whether or not it was perhaps time for a new challenge, John Murray. Do you think that, I mean, obviously he's got work to do with the United fans. We could tell that in the first half. Is this a good step, or has he pretty much gone the whole way already?
Listen, only months ahead will tell on that, because we had that spell, didn't we, last season for Manchester United, just after Solskjaer took charge, when Mourinho and all of the bad feeling was swept away, and suddenly over a period of time, over a period of weeks, when he contributed matches like this, passes like that, goals as well, and then suddenly that disappeared again for the closing stages of the season. So we're only going to see. Yeah, I was actually just thinking, when you were talking to Andy there, I was thinking we've had this conversation before.
We have. We do. We come back to it an awful lot. I hope that Pogba does put his head down and really show everybody how good I think he is. I think, again, as I mentioned at the start of the game, I don't think United have got that many players that could potentially at their very best get into a World 11. I think at his very best he could. Yeah, I really do.
That's when you see him creating those third and fourth goals. Why it was that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when he said during the summer, if I put my best team on the field, Paul Pogba is in the team, and that's why.